Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mr. Liang, and welcome back to a business scoop update for the US economy. As you can tell, the US economy is doing great. The economy is finally booming, but millions of Americans can't feel it yet. Let's take a look at this article. So, the American economy is roaring back to life because of the stimulus checks and the aggressive spending for Americans. We can already see that the US economy just reached its fastest first quarter GDP growth in nearly 4 decades. Hiring is surging, broad swaths to the economy, even New York City are getting ready to reopen for business. So there's a lot of really positive signs for the economy. Other companies are having trouble hiring individuals. I've been reading some articles that say that some companies, even though there's positions to be filled, they can't find people to fill them. Examples include a few restaurant chains where they have demand, but they just can't fill it. There's a lot of really good positive indicators for the economy. Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's Analytics, says the economy is booming. It's busting out all over. Oxford Economics is predicting the US GDP is going to grow at an average pace of 7.5% in 2021, a pace that hasn't been seen since 1951. As you can see here, the sharp recovery is actually driven by the 1-2 punch of the unprecedented stimulus from Washington and the rollout of vaccines. I must say the US has done a very good job in vaccinations, and they're approaching almost 200 million, if not already done so. 200 million vaccinations, and with the stimulus, consumer confidence, spending power, and demand for their products, we can expect to see the economy do very well. The K is turning into a V, and the rebound is incomplete and uneven, leaving a lot of Americans on the outside looking in. There seems to be a consensus that the recovery has seemed to benefited certain individuals over others, and there's some inequalities that may arise. There's about 8 million fewer jobs today than before the pandemic. A lot of low income workers and people who rely on travel, entertainment, and restaurants for their livelihoods are still struggling. I can imagine that, with the cruise ship industry and all these tourism and hospitality workers, they're still struggling, at least some of them, to find suitable and consistent employment. And this has led to the notion of a K-shaped recovery. Certain segments of the population are left behind, and as the rest of the economy zooms ahead. However, the vaccination campaign is allowing states and cities to lift health regulations and restrictions, and it should give Americans confidence to go to the restaurants, the ballparks, and the airplanes. Have you seen some of the Texas Rangers baseball stadiums? They're full at capacity. But I think really the key to getting the economy working for all is vaccinations. Vaccinate as many people as possible and get those people who are working in the tourism industry and hospitality, get them their jobs back. You want to focus on ensuring that it's safe for Americans to go to the restaurants, movie theaters, entertainment, etc. One thing that you may notice is that there's shortages everywhere, whether it's raw materials, chips, workers. Part of the optimism is creating a lot of pent-up demand, and companies are having trouble scaling up their businesses to meet the demand because consumers are flush with cash, stimulus. You didn't spend all that money going to the movie theater, so now you do have some money to spend on entertainment. If anything, CEOs are worried that they won't be able to meet all of the demand because there are disruptions caused by, chip shortages. Remember the Suez Canal crisis that happened not too long ago? Supply chain constraints, and the cost of copper, lumber, raw materials, and even wood has climbed sharply. Not to mention, businesses are having trouble finding the skilled workers required to ramp up and increase production. A lot of competition for talent. And this is a indicator and kind of an externality of the very fast recovery, economic recovery from the pandemic. So what's next? If you look at the article and how it concludes, it notes that even though the economy is doing well, as I mentioned in my previous videos, there are inflation risks. There's a chance that this could all be a bubble, and if the economy is growing too fast, or maybe the pandemic hits the U.S. again because of all these variants. But let's say that the economy does really well, there's runaway inflation. Look to the Fed to increase interest rates as a way to sort of cool down the economy. And a lot of people could be harmed if the interest rates go up a little bit. So we'll see what happens with the US economy. But come summertime, I expect there to be a lot of demand, businesses opening, and restrictions being lifted, and it's going to be an economic growth unlike anything we've probably seen before in our lifetime. All right, thanks for watching. This was an update on the US economy, and it looks great. But we'll just have to take into account that, with all this money and money supply in the economy, we can expect inflation to come, but we just don't know the effect of the inflation and how soon it's going to come. All right, thanks for watching. This was a Business Scoop and Update, and if you enjoyed watching and listening, I highly recommend checking out some of my other videos. I've got a lot of other videos on how to start a business, business basics and fundamentals, and check out my flagship playlist, the Startup Starter Kit, if you're interested in starting, managing, and growing your own small business. All right, thanks for watching. I'll see you later, and bye-bye.